welcome to the Crypto Trading Basics Bootcamp. This is the second session, which is going to be led by Renee, but myself, Danielle Marie, who leads the Web3 Basics on Monday nights. I just have a few quick announcements that I really want to get through for all of you that are watching the recording and for those of you that are here live. So let's jump right into it because I know that you've got a lot of learning ahead of you, and Renee will be taking you through the introduction of technical analysis, and I'll be handing off to her shortly, okay? But before we do that, just a few announcements. If you missed last week's session, if you're watching this recording, if you found this recording somehow, somebody shared it with you, you found it on YouTube, whatever, and you want to get access to the other lessons, you do not have to, it's not like you have to do the last lesson to do the next one. It's not really designed that way. These are all the basics, they're all important. It doesn't really, obviously, if you learn about crypto and money first in the order, it's a little bit better, but it's not necessary. You can go back, you can go into the group. If you're already registered in the group, you'll see all the recordings, and I'm going to give you a quick little tour in just a moment and show you some updates that I've made in there. So quick little warning, if you weren't here, in the last week or here on Monday, I just like to warn you that it's information overload. We're going to provide you with a lot of information and resources. You're not supposed to be an expert by the end of these 8 weeks, but we're going to teach you the language, the terminology. We're going to give you the resources, and we're going to be here to support you, but it is going to be a lot of information. Interactive program. We really want you to be engaged. We're going to talk about the gamification and the things that we're working on implementing, but also Renee is there for you in the chat. If you go and share your charts with her, she'll comment, she'll help you out. Same with the Web3 channel. If you have any questions, so please make sure that we're here to help you. So it's a very much an interactive program, and always, all crypto, all of online, everywhere you go, beware of scammers. Okay, so just be extra vigilant. Next week, I'll be teaching on online security on Monday and things how you can keep yourself safe. So please come to that to learn. All right. Quick disclaimers. We've been here before, so I'm not going to say too much, but education purposes only, not financial advice. Always do your own research. Our practical activity for Monday was all about learning how to do your own research. It used to annoy me so much when I very first got into the crypto space, and everyone was like, do your own research, do your own research. I'm like, I don't know how to read a white paper and understand if a project is legitimate. I need to learn. So you do need to learn how to do your own research, and we're here to help you, okay? But you have to do your own, and all of our content is always recorded, and it's always shared into the platform. All right, let's talk events. For those of you, I know there's a couple of you that were there last night at our in-person event in Brisbane. So, you might want to just tune out the next couple of moments. But we have lots of events coming up. So All Things Blockchain has a roadshow that's coming up. So we will be at Token 49, we will be in Melbourne for the Blockies, and we'll be in Sydney for the Australian Crypto Convention. If you haven't registered already or you want to register, go ahead and do our Luma calendar, and you'll get those updates on those events that ATB will be specifically in each of these cities. And then we always have online events. So outside of here, you have more opportunities to learn. These are always hosted with our sponsors. So we've got Wallet V, which is like a Web3 wallet. We've got Binance Australia. They just got a new general manager for the kind of APAC, New Zealand, Australian region. So we'll be doing a Q&A with them. And then obviously about the bootcamp because you're here. Women's focused events, EvolvH3R, alongside partnership with ATB is going on a road tour. And we will be also doing Token 49 and ACC. And we also do our online fireside chats. And we have Paula all the way from Brazil showing us and teaching us how she got into Web3 and she works in Web3 and she actually doesn't know too much about Web3, but she's learning about it and she's working on a more technical role. So she'll share that you don't need to really know a lot about Web3 to work in it. You just got to be willing to learn, and you got to be willing to start, and you do have to have a skill set that these Web3 businesses are looking for. I teach more of that in the Mondays class, okay? Tonight, you're going to learn about trading crypto, but please, join if you want to learn more about that. Okay, so the reason why I'm here is I wanted to talk about the game and the gamification and the quizzes and the points and everything that my team have been working on trying to implement into this platform. And as I mentioned last week, it is a new platform for us. So we've kind of come with some limitations and things that we need to fix. And I'm excited that the team is pretty much there. We've found a solution. We're working on it. And I'm going to give you a quick little preview of the group and some updates in there for you in just a second. I'll stop sharing just before I hand it over to Renee, and I'll jump into the group, and then I'll pass it over to Renee for her to deliver the lesson. But if you were here last week on Monday, and for those of you that have just joined us recently, if you missed Monday, then this is new to you. If you were here on Monday, you've heard this, and it's a repeat. But a blockchain snapshot. I think I asked this last week. I'm going to ask it again. Who knows what a blockchain snapshot is? I'm going to hope that there's more yeses than last week, because I'm pretty sure that there is a few repeats. Very good. We got lots of yeses. Great. So I won't go into too much detail of the majority of it, but for the people that are watching the recording, a snapshot is essentially when you kind of like take a look, like almost kind of like a photograph, if you want to say. I don't know why my click's not working. It basically captures the exact state of the blockchain. So kind of what is the balance at that very moment, at that very time that you've taken the snapshot. So think about it as literally taking a screenshot of the data that is on the blockchain at that moment. Now, why do they use snapshots? What's the purpose of them? We're not going to go too deep in that at the moment, because that's not really the major lesson. But I wanted to give you an example or an analogy of what we're going to be doing in terms of a snapshot. But projects do this for airdrop tokens. So if you've ever heard of a fork or a hard fork or soft fork, we will talk about that in the Mondays class, but essentially they'll take a snapshot of the blockchain and say when Bitcoin Cash forked from Bitcoin, if you had 1 Bitcoin in your wallet at that time, then you also got 1 Bitcoin Cash. Okay, and they took a snapshot of every single wallet address that had Bitcoin at the time of the fork. Okay, so this would be one use case. You could also use it for airdrop tokens and other different types of things. For some of you, that might just be like a whole new language. That's okay. It will all start to make sense as we go through. You might be like, why is she talking about more of a complex topic of like snapshots in blockchain? It's because when we gave everybody the links to do the quizzes to issue you points, we realized that we hadn't accounted for that if people accidentally put in them a couple of times or were testing their knowledge, which we want you to do, it was like issuing more points. We've now rectified that situation. And I do want to ask a few people, you should have, I don't even know if Lynn's on the call. I know that there was a few of them that have filled in their like week 2 quiz from Monday. And then we would go in and approve it. We'll be like, yeah, okay, great. And then once we do that, you should get an email with all of the answers. We are going to be adding in one more extra step where you'll get a confirmation email. My team's working on that. So the flow will be, you'll submit the quiz, you'll get an email that say, great, success, we've seen it. Then one of our team is actually going to go in and manually approve your points. Then you'll get your points and then you'll get the answers, or we might even actually move it around. So we're just working on optimizing that kind of that best execution. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take a snapshot of the leaderboard, which I'm going to show you in a moment, but we'll take a snapshot of that. And then it's almost kind of like, okay, everyone's starting from ground zero. Everybody that has completed already weeks 1 and 2's quizzes, you still get those points. So we'll have to do a little bit of mathematical equations so that we can pick the winners of the game. Okay, and so this game at the moment, this is what we have in our prize box. but I definitely see us putting some more fun stuff in there by the end, because you know, we've still got, what, how many weeks? 6 weeks. So I'm sure I can get some sponsors to give me some more prizes if I ask really nicely. But at the moment, there's some definite hard cold cash up for grabs. There's some VIP merch boxes that will be delivered straight to your door. So you'll give us your address. We've got Australian Crypto Convention tickets for anybody that wants to go to Sydney. We got some EvolvH3R scholarships on offer. We'll be doing a scholarship program in October. And I've got some other prizes up my sleeve for some other global conferences, but I can't announce yet because it's not official. But stay tuned, that will be updated. Renee is going to take you through, this is your crypto basics trading. She's going to be taking you through all of that in just a moment. So I'm not going to talk too much about that. What I'm going to do before I hand it over to Renee, I am just going to quickly jump in. I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and then I'm going to share the bootcamp screen. And I'm just going to share a few updates. I'm going to see if there's any questions, comments, concerns, or anything regarding the quizzes, and then Renee will jump into the lesson. So just give me 1 second to move my Zoom around. I want to share this. Okay, you guys can see the bootcamp group now? Can I get some thumbs up? Yeah? Okay, great. So Martin, I believe you were one of the ones that asked for the PDFs, and we're coming across some challenges with platforms, the different platforms that we're using, and trying to find the best solution. So I have found a temporary solution where if you go into getting started and you hit this link, you're going to have these important links. All the PDFs of the slides and the learning resources will be in here. The issue is, in any other important links, you'll see the weekly Zoom link. I'm going to keep adding any important links in here for you. The issue is with the slides is that the file's too big, because we have links to videos and we have links to articles and everything. So the file's too big, so I can't upload it to the email or in the platform. So Google Drive is my solution to that. So all of the crypto Renee's learning resources and slides will be in this drive, and all the Web3 ones will be in this drive. So that is that solution for now. And for anybody else that's watching this recording, that's where you'll find it. We're actually going to be building out a Notion board, and we're going to have a resource hub and repository. It just takes time for our team to build. So we are literally in the ground up of building this education platform. So thank you for your patience, and also thank you for everyone who's been giving us feedback. The other thing I'd like to note, you'll always have your weekly recordings. So this will have both the Crypto Basics and Web3. This will have the latest recordings. They'll always be pinned here for you. But then this is the channel that I will run. This will only be the Web3 Basics course materials, and the crypto trading, this will only be the crypto trading, okay? So Renee will post her recordings and everything here for you. So if you're only really here to learn about the crypto trading, that's just the channel you can go and and post in, and then Renee will know that she'll be commenting to these posts. And if anybody asks any questions or anything, I'll be posting to those. The support is maybe kind of if you're having any type of question or anything that's just kind of general and generic. And here we want you to engage and maybe just share things that you find or you come across, and maybe share other types of learning resources or things that you come across. The last thing I want to show you, no, two things I want to show you is the events. This is where you'll always find the different lessons that we're coming to. And if we have any special upcoming events, we'll also put them in there for you. And then the last thing is the leaderboards. And this is what I mean by a snapshot. We will be taking at the end of the week a snapshot of this, and then moving forward of kind of what everyone's points are, because there's some people that did get a whole bunch of double points from submitting the quizzes a couple of times, which was a mistake on our end, none of yours mistake. It was actually a mistake on our end. So we've fixed it, and we'll take a snapshot And then we basically will start counting the points between now until September 17th, which is the last day. And then we will calculate, we'll make sure everybody that did the quiz 1 and 2 got those points included. And then we will calculate who were the winners of the boot camp. Before I hand it over to Renee, is there any questions on that? Even Renee, if you have a question, or is it pretty crystal clear? Did I do a good job? All right.
Yeah, it sounds good to me.
All right. If I did a good job of explaining that, if you have a question that pops up afterwards, feel free to shoot me. You can also, the last thing I'll say is you can DM us if you want to ask a question and you're too shy to ask it in the group. There's a little chat function up on the end. You can DM Renee, you can DM me. It's private, nobody else can see it. So always feel free to do that. All right, Renee, I think that's enough for me. I am going to hand it over to you.
Neat. I'm going to share this. Awesome. Great. So, how's everyone doing tonight? Can you hear me all good? Can I get some Y's in the chat if you can hear me, if my audio is great? Thanks, Daryl. That's awesome. So tonight the way I'm going to run it is because basically it's really hard to show these things like in a slide. So I'm going to run really quickly through my slides to give you guys a general idea of what we're going to cover. And then I'm going to jump right into the Bybit platform and I'm going to show you what we're talking about. And it's basically just going to be an introduction to reading charts and how to use the basic functionality of the charting software inside of the platform. Perfect. Awesome. I wish I could see it different this way. Let me just change my view. Okay, perfect. So everyone's got their demo accounts. I saw some comments that people haven't quite got it yet. Did everyone find the way to get into the demo part of the account, or do I need to go over that again? Has everyone gotten into the demo account? Yes? Just give me some Y's in the chat.
Renee, I think I was just putting in a poll question and I was actually going to.
Woohoo!
Let me put this poll out there. Let's launch it. Let's see if that works. Who has created a demo? Oh, I put demo, but who has created a demo account? Let's see.
We got 12 people here, so let's have a look.
Oh, we got more. Oh, we got a few yeses, a few no's. Because the demo account is really important because that's where they can practice and not lose any money, right?
Exactly, yeah. So it's best to, like, if you've never used an advanced trading platform before, the demo account is like perfect way to practice everything. Make sure you put in your stop losses, like using the different indicators and things like that. And there's no risk, of course, of you ever losing any money. So yeah, definitely if you want to learn how to trade, this is the easiest and safest way to learn how to trade for sure. Awesome. So yeah, let's do that. Line that. So basically today we're going to go over all the different types of lines, different types of charts, different time frames for different styles of trading, drawing basic trend lines and identifying channels and things like that. Volume for very, very basics volume, and then an introduction to the technical indicators that I use on a frequent basis that I really like. Awesome. So there are many different types of charts you can use. So you can use a line chart, a bar chart, or a candlestick chart. And I'll just show you these really quickly. So this is a line chart. There are some certain situations in which I would use a line chart. The bar charts are a very, very old school kind of way. If you find people who are older traders who have been trading for a long time, who come from traditional markets, they do like using the bar charts. Because it's just like the way that they always used to use them. But for most people these days, and what I'm going to be doing all of my analysis on, we're going to be using candlesticks, which we went over a little bit last week. The next thing we're going to talk about is different types of time frames and why you would use different types of time frames. So the 1 to 15 minute charts for scalping using short time frames, using the 60-minute charts for doing your day trades, and then using 4 hours and 1 day charts if you're going to be doing more swing trades. Then we're going to have a look at some different types of like drawing channels, different reasons why you would use channels. There are additional ones that we're going to go into next week, but for today we're just going to use parallel channels for this one. And then very, really quickly, just how to use volume when you're seeing your trends and how to use volume in that situation. And then these are my 3 favorite indicators. I did have a video already on my YouTube channel. If you guys want to do some homework before next week, before we really go into indicators, to have a quick look about how I put these into the platform, you can have a look at the moving averages, the stochastic RSI, and the MACD. They're my 3 favorite indicators that I use all the time. And yeah, you can just click on that video and you'll see like how I put them into Bybit already. Perfect. So yeah, let's go back. So I'm going to switch now to my other screen. So stop sharing. Share. Where's my Bybit? Awesome. Share. Great. So we're back into this is my demo trading challenge account that I use with HyroTrader. So you can see I have my trade from yesterday where we've got a formation down here, which is a W formation, and I'm just holding it right now. So let's change it up to have a look really quick. So this is a candlestick chart, which is like the way most people would read a chart. But if you go over here, there's different ways you can look. So this is the bar chart. And so it's really up to personal preference. Like if you like looking at a chart like this and you can read it this way, feel free to use the bar chart. You know, a lot of people do. It's just a personal preference. I find it difficult to read. Like for me, it's not as intuitive. When I've got a line chart here, this doesn't really work for me a lot, so I would not use this a lot at all. The only reason that I would use this is if I'm going to be drawing things like channels and trends. So what I'm actually going to do is because this is the trading view indicator inside of Bybit, and it's really good to be able to use to do basic analysis, but because I do more detailed analysis, I'm actually going to show you what it looks like in TradingView, which is this one here. Awesome. Great. Let me just put this up here. Awesome. So everyone can see my TradingView now. Get some Y's in the chat. You're looking good. Perfect. So here we go. We've got Bitcoin USDT. Because I trade futures, I'm trading USD like tether contracts on top of Bitcoin. If you're trading Bitcoin spot, you'd be using BTC USD. So that would be the spot contract. But because I'm using, you can see it's a perpetual contract in futures, I'm using the BTC USD chart straight away on Bybit. And so same thing here. It's exactly the same as inside of Bybit. You can use, but it has more. There's like way more options for you to use once you're inside of TradingView. And it gives you a little bit more features if you're using the full version of TradingView. So this is the line chart, and this is why I would use the line chart when we're specifically talking about things like channels and trends. Because it kind of like takes away all of like the fanciness and it can be a little bit overwhelming. And so what you want to do is say I want to draw a downtrend. I'm going to take my line here and I'm going to try and make it touch as many of the points as possible. And once you've basically got 3 points, you've got a confirmed trend. So at this point, you've got a confirmed trend here, confirm here, here, 3. So you've got 4, 5, and 6. You can see how that trend continues to hold that line, and then you've got the break of the trend. So if you're having a hard time trying to identify a trend, try putting on the line chart and using it that way, and you'll be able to maybe clear up the trend a little bit more in your own eyes. It's so the points don't need to line up exactly. It's like whenever you're drawing trends or support resistance, anything like this, think of it as a range. So a lot of times people will actually do something like um, something like this. Oh, how's the easiest way to do it? It's harder to do with a trend unless you're doing a channel. But I'll do the other trend first. So to show you an example, this would have probably been the original trend. Well, the original trend would have been this one here. So let's change that to this. So if we didn't have any of this over here, so say we're looking at this is the original trend. You can see how the points all line up. And in general, you want 3 touches of the trend. Like this one's really close and this one's really close. So this is like your established trend. That's your break of trend here. And then we actually had this consolidation period here. So once we have a series of sideways movements, what I would use is the channel. So down here, once you're in the line, go to parallel channel. And what will actually happen is once you have at least 2 points, you start with 2 points, and then you usually end up getting more, and then you actually drag it down. And so then you can see this is like your parallel channel. And I'm going to change it back to candles. And you can kind of see how it's like, it's a bit, it's not hitting the points exactly, but you're getting the idea of the trend. And that is like another way to draw trend lines. Some other people would be a little bit more like, oh, it has to touch exactly the top, or it has to touch exactly the bar. They're all just think of them as like areas of interest. It's never going to be completely perfect. No trend is ever going to be completely perfect, but that's a couple of different ways to help identify trends and directions using trend lines. And again, if you remember from last week, when we draw a downtrend line, we want to go on the top and we're connecting the lower highs all the way down on the top. Okay, perfect. So recap on what we were just talking about. So the 3 different types of charts that we will use and are generally most people use. So that you've got your line chart, your bar chart, and then your candlestick charts. And that was just showing you the quick little hack of like if you're having trouble seeing trends, use the line chart to kind of take away a lot of the noise, and you'll be able to kind of create these trends a little bit easier. Don't have to. That's just a little hack sometimes if you have a harder time seeing the trends or where they are. But I do prefer using the candles. That's just my personal preference. And then, so yeah, we've got our downtrend connecting our lower highs, and then we have our uptrend connecting our higher lows. Then we have our parallel channel where we can see we're consolidating in a very kind of symmetrical range. And then we broke out again here into what we have now, which is our uptrend. So, another uptrend. And we kind of, the consolidation pattern we have right now is just kind of really messy. It's kind of a parallel channel, but like just a very messy consolidation. You could even perhaps even do one like this way and have it that way and then having it breaking out. So this is an art, it is not a science. So don't ever think that, oh, it's not good enough or it's not perfect or whatever it is. These are just areas of interest that help us to visualize a chart and the price action of the movement. So if I haven't looked here, let's go again. You can even see here, that was like, that's really your area. Really small, if you want to be more accurate. So we had this really, really tight consolidation, and now we're breaking out down. Will we continue? Maybe, maybe not. This is the whole thing about analysis. It's everybody can look at a chart and see exactly the same candlesticks, and they'll draw their lines slightly different. They'll have different areas of interest. So it's really just about practicing, becoming more comfortable, and over time, you'll be able to kind of see your charts just a little bit easier. So overall, this is the previous all-time high here. So this is, no, it's not. It's back here. Okay, where are we? Let's have a look. So yeah, so this is the previous all-time high here. There's another one that I like to use. It's called a horizontal ray. So it will go from like one point and then straight across. So if you want to like highlight a particular area of interest, you can use the ray and it will just go in that particular point. And so for right now, I'm going to also highlight the other previous all-time high. That was the one in January. And if you kind of look at where we are right now, here, you see that we hit the all-time high, came down in the downtrend, we bounced back up, we consolidated right at that trend, we broke out really strongly, and now we're actually coming back down to test this like previous area of interest. So this is actually quite an interesting area. We could be looking at an area where we're going to bounce. We could be looking at coming down a little bit further to actually touch this point again. This is when we want to start adding onto our chart our basic indicators. Because some people can trade based purely on price movement, but for me, I like to add a few indicators to kind of show the price. So the easiest way that I can do it is the one that I will show. It's called the Trader's Reality indicator. I'll write that in here in the chat. Where is it? Yeah. Where is my chat? Max. Chat. Oh. It's called the Trader's Reality main indicator. And for people who only have the free version of TradingView, it's actually really good because there's a whole bunch of different indicators in one indicator. So you don't have to pay extra to get like the 5 different indicators on it. You can just use this one indicator and it will start adding things like the moving averages on there for you. So the moving averages that are on here right now are the 5, the 13, the 50, the 200, and the 800. So these are very kind of standard over lots of different styles of trading. You'll see these kind of numbers come up over and over again because the way they work is that they become the equivalent moving average over different time frames. So this is why we like to use numbers. Again, that's 5, 13, 50, 200, 800. So obviously 5 being the smallest, so that's going to be the closest to the price. 5, 13, this one's a 50, the 200, and then the 800, which will be, haven't even been created yet because there's not enough time frames. We go down, let's go down here. There we go. Yeah, there it is. That's the additional one, the purple one. Awesome. So basically, if you're having a look on my chart up here, these are your different time frames. And so depending on your style of trading, you will be using different types of time frames. In general, for investors and people long-term trading, you really don't need anything below like a 4-hour chart. because you're holding for the long term. You really don't want to see all the noise that's happening. So if you're like a buyer investor, like you really would not be looking less than a 4-hour chart. You'd be looking mostly at the daily, at the weekly, the longer term charts to see the trends over those time frames. If you're a day trader looking for day trades to go for like a couple of days, maybe a couple of weeks, maybe now you're coming down to like the 15, the 1 hour, 4 hour kind of time frames, because you're looking at slightly medium-sized time frames. If you're a day trader like I am, you're looking at the really low time frames, like the minute chart. So most people when they're trading do not need to be looking at the minute chart. It's really overwhelming. There's a lot going on. It moves really fast. So unless you really stress yourself out, you don't look at the 1 minute chart, like 5 minutes maybe. It will kind of average it out over time. Perfect. What do those numbers stand for? The numbers, the 513, they're moving averages. So the lines are called a moving average. It is an average of the price over a period of time that moves, obviously, along in time. This is actually an exponential moving average, an EMA, sorry. And basically it gives more weight to the more close time. So it will give more weight to the time frame closer to the actual current time. Let's have a look here. So I'm actually going to show you my day trading chart. So when I'm day trading, this is over 4 periods of time, actually. Let's have a look here. Because what you're looking for is confluence of the indicators over sequential different periods, time frames. Again, this is like really overwhelming for you guys. Once you get used to it, like this actually makes sense to me. It might seem a little bit overwhelming. So 5 is whatever time frame you're in, it's 5 of that time frame. So in this case, on the left-hand side of the screen, it's the BCT tether contract for 1 minute. This is the BT perpetual contract for 5 minutes. This is the 15-minute, and then this is the 1 hour. So the 5 moving averages will be 5 minutes. For the 5 minutes, it'll be 5 times 5 minutes, and then etc., etc. So for the hour, it will be 5-hour periods. So depending on whichever time period you're looking at, it's 5 of those periods. And the way that these indicators work over time is that they actually become, I'm going to get rid of my indicators because it's a bit too much. These lines actually downsize to become the next size up. So, I'm trying to make it a bit smoother. Just to make it easier. Okay. So for example, this is the hour chart, and we can see how everything is consolidating here on this purple line. This is the 50 moving averages. So it's the average of the last 50 hours price averaged into a line average. If we go down to the 15-minute chart, that becomes the blue line being the 200 moving average. So it's the same line, but because the time frame has then decreased, it becomes the next size down. So if you have a look down here, that's the 50. The yellow line here is the 13 moving average. On this chart, it's the 50. And so the same thing, the very closest one here, the 5 moving average, then becomes the 13. So they all like jump down one, the way more backwards you go. And so here it's the 50, here it's the 200, which is the blue line. And then you go down to the next one, that same line is now the 800 moving average. So you can see how over time, the averages move down, basically. Does that make sense to you guys? Can I get some like okays? I know that's a little bit like overwhelming, but that just shows you how the moving averages change over different time frames. So they basically they're the same line, but because they're on a different time frame, they're going down. Again, so you've got the 50 here. On this one, it's the 200. On this one, it's the 800. It's the same line. Slightly different, but it's the same. This line here is this line here is this line here, depending on the time frames. And that's why we like to use those moving average numbers. And then you'll use these kind of rounded up numbers. They make a lot of confluence in the way that the moving averages work. So 1, 5, 15, and then like 1 hour, and then 4 hours. So basically, you'll see a lot of different traders using these numbers because the moving averages and the way that the math works when you're looking at them over time make a lot of sense. Does that make sense for you guys? Awesome. So what did we have a look at? We had time frames, we had the different moving averages. Okay, so what we're actually going to do now is we're just going to add a couple more indicators onto our charts. But I might actually go back into Bybit because it's a little bit cleaner. So let's do screen share. Okay, cool. So now we're back in Bybit. Chart candlesticks. Perfect. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a couple of indicators on here. And then we're just going to have a look at volume. Just again, as I know it's been a lot overwhelming. Any other questions, throw them in the chat. If I can answer them before the end, I can. But we're going to go into Bybit here. We've got our indicators. So clicking on indicators here, I'm just going to add on the RSI. There's two different types of, this is like a relative strength index. So it's an oscillator. Basically just shows you if things are becoming overbought or oversold. The one I like to use is called the stochastic RSI. And it's just like a slightly different algorithm, but I just like using it. Again, you can use both. They're very similar in the way that they work. Perfect. So this is the stochastic RSI. And then you have these two areas here. So you've got the oversold and overbought areas. So anything over 80 is considered overbought, and anything under 20 is considered oversold. And so in generally, the way you would use this indicator is that when things become into this oversold area, overbought area, you'd be looking for reversals. It doesn't automatically mean that it's going to reverse, but it's probably that it could be almost time running out of juice. So you'd be like, oh, maybe I don't really want to go open a long when it's already so overbought. You know what I mean? Yeah, so I have I just use the standard numbers in here. I do have, I believe in the video that I shared, it'll show you how to adjust all the numbers in there. There are certain different ways that you can make it look different. So the way that I use it in TradingView is there are certain ways. It'll be in that video that I shared with the different indicators for sure. I know I've got it written down in when I'm using them in next week. I just don't have them here. I'd have to go back to the TradingView. But this one in general, like an RSI, it's like the oversold areas, you're going to be very general, kind of like similar over the time. Because it's not like a definitive indicator. It's not like you must sell here, you must buy here. It's just showing you areas where it could be becoming like overheated, not a great area to be starting to go long or go short if it's already in those areas. In general, like a good indicator, you want it to cross. So at these points here, so it's become oversold and then you get a cross. you'll be looking for longs when this happens. So same thing up here, when it's oversold and it crosses, be looking to go short. So that's generally how you use those sort of indicators. So for me here, if you had a look here on this indicator, we actually have a W formation. So we will go into W and M formations in a following week. But when an indicator does this sort of formation, it's a very usually good indicator that you're going to get an upward movement. So W's being like the bottom, and then you've got M's at the top. So whenever you see a W and M, you can see there's an M formation here. So you can see there's an M. This is usually a good sign that we could be looking at going down for a little bit. Not always, but these are sort of things that I look when I'm looking at indicators. And we actually have these two indicators like happening over time, and then you have a discrepancy in the links of the bottoms, which is called a divergence. So again, this is like another thing that I was looking at. You've got this bottom and then this bottom, and then this one's actually like equal when you would think that it would go more down. So this is another showing of weakness. So I was looking at this last night. Let's have a look, change the time. What time was this? Brisbane. Yeah, this is like New York Open last night. I was actually trading that because I was still awake after the event. So hi to all the guys I saw last night. So I was actually like, I think on the train home at this point, and I was just like watching this happen, and I'm like, oh, this looks like a good area for a long. So I did get stopped out a couple of times because like it kept going down. I thought it was actually going to bounce up here. And so I got stopped out a couple of times. But yeah, ended up getting like a really good entry at that point. So as we keep showing strength here, um, it we could get a bounce here. Like I'm still holding. I haven't sold any at this point, because I still think we're gonna keep going up from here. And so let's have a look at the trend line. I'm gonna show you my trend line. You've got this trend here. She's gonna get rid of this guy. So as long as we're holding this trend, so this is probably, there's two ways that you could be drawing this. This is the original trend. This is a fake out. Because you can see this move here. This is actually a really good way to show volume. You've got this like strong move here. You've got this big move down with increasing volume. If you guys can see that here. We've got increasing volume here. Going up. Which means usually when you have increasing volume into a move, that shows strength of the move. So you want to see volume increasing on that move. And then once it actually hits here and try to break through this trend line that we'd established over here, you've got no volume. Like it's gone down. So this move is not really showing any strength to the downside. And where do we get the strength? In the up move. So when you see this up move with increasing volume, again, there's one of two things. The market makers who are controlling the market could be trying to manipulate you into believing that the market is going to keep going, or the market is actually showing strength and we're going to keep getting that push going forward. So especially in these like choppy markets like we've got right now, they love to just chop around and just like mess with your head. So they just love to like mess with you. And so you'll see this kind of choppy action. But right now, as I said, I'm still holding. But looking at this trend line, if we start to show weakness here, this could turn over and roll over. So this, if you guys remember from last week, our candle formations, so this is like called a hammer, and it's generally a reversal candle. So this going into this candle could be a sign that we're about to turn over and reject off of this level. considering, yeah, actually looking at that, that's actually what could be happening right now. So I'm actually going to watch this really carefully because I might need to get out of my position. um, but yeah, does that kind of show you how volume works when you're looking at the charts? So again, you see these moves, strong move going down, increasing volume. Yeah, that's a strong move. And then it's like nothing, no volume. It's just you can almost tell that it's like gonna fake out and it's gonna lose its momentum. And then we get this big move up, and then now it's like kind of faltering again. You're losing the volume. So keep an eye out. This, if we fail here, if we don't get a nice big push up, back up through this trend line, with increasing volume, I would be saying we're about to roll over and like keep going down a bit further. Because if we go back to this one, this is a big area of interest. Just a little bit lower. These candles, if you remember, are vector candles, so they're manipulation candles. So we are bouncing off the 50 here. This is generally a really strong move. Like this is a good bounce area. Anytime you come back and test the 50, it's really healthy. You can see last time we did it, came down, had a nice, beautiful bounce, but then we got a fake out because we were in this channel. Come up, testing this here, finding support here is a very bullish sign. But because this area of interest is like a little bit further down, I saw it. Yeah, there's like another one even just a little bit lower. Me. So what we could be seeing here is another rollover just down into this area here before we get another push. Because in general, Bitcoin is still bullish. Like we're still looking to go into the end of the year and to keep rallying. This is just an area where we're kind of going sideways, consolidating. Like this period here, if you guys remember, this consolidation was 264 bars. So that's 4 hours, so it's 44 days. So that's like, what's that, 6 weeks? We went sideways. So we're going sideways here, pretty much. So yeah, like maybe another couple of weeks of just going sideways, just chilling. That would be completely like normal and just like, just hovering around here, consolidating, consolidating before we maybe drop in, bounce out. We've just really got to wait and see. I'm hoping we take another little bounce up to here. This would be another area to come up and collect. Let's do it down here. So if what I was thinking is that we come up here, and then back down here. That would be nice. And those two moves. That's kind of what I'm looking at right now over the next couple of weeks with my trading. And in general, all the other most of the other tokens will keep following and doing whatever Bitcoin's doing. When Bitcoin goes sideways, altcoins will usually go a bit crazy. But yeah, that's kind of a little bit of, hopefully I didn't overwhelm you guys with too much information in one one go. But that's like our time at 8 o'clock. So if there's any other questions, pop them in the chat. If there's any other charts you want me to have a quick look at, has anyone got any tokens while I'm in here in TradingView that I should have a quick look at? And see if I can do some trends and some maybe like see some quick analysis. If anyone has a token, ETH. Let's have a quick look at ETH. I did ETH the other day because it was actually ETH's 10th birthday the other day. I'm just going to get rid of my... You can see I've got a lot of lines over time. I'm just going to remove them all. Make it nice and clean. So, this is actually a good way. Let's start from when you have a clean chart and you want to start from the very beginning. Let's do like this. So this is Ethereum. It's not the full chart because it's only since it was trading on Bybit. But ETH has basically been a stable coin for the past, like, what's this? 2020. So the past 5 years, ETH has done nothing. It's gone sideways. So this is actually a really good show. Let's put on this just gonna look at that. It's basically been in this channel. What am I doing? Parallel channel. This one. There we go. And let's see. And you basically just try and find the areas of most interest. So for me, that's about there. So you've got 1 point, 2 points, you've got a bounce here, 3, 4, like you've got lots of areas of interest. And then you've got one kind of down here, some area of interest down here, here, and down here again. So ETH has been in a channel since 2020, so 5 years. It's basically just been hovering around in this channel, not really doing anything. Technically, it's slightly going up. Technically. If you want to do that over time, very long uptrend. So still bullish. It's not even like really in a panic. It's definitely just been going in this channel. So let's have a look. But what you can see here is that we've broken this downtrend, we've found support, and now we're kind of rallying out. What we'd love to see is it to break this like area of what it has not been able to stay above. So this is the 4,000, that dreadful like 4,000. So for me, we're looking at these candles, probably looking at something like this. Come down and get some of this interest and up. I think ETH is very bullish. Finally. So yeah, uptrend, uptrend, uptrend. Beautiful. Let's have a look at Solana. There's a little channel that it was in before. Solana's been going through a lot of the same things in that it's been hitting this, it hasn't really been able to go up past these kind of areas. But again, still bullish over a long time. Yeah. This is not usually great when it does this and like can't push through. Interesting. I don't really trade Solana, so this is I haven't looked at it for ages. And when you actually also look at my trading style, this is a massive M formation. So down, down. Maybe going to come down, get some of these areas down here. I don't think so. I think we're too bullish for that. You'd say that it's almost like a little parallel channel. Very equal ups and bottoms. But in general, when you see this formation after this is a continuation pattern down. So whenever you see it's like a bearish flag formation or pennant, like depending on like that. Pennants are usually triangles, but it's usually like this. It's a continuation pattern down. So not looking super bullish for Solana right now. Like if you go back to ETH, you can definitely see like it's pushing up and it's like almost about to create these higher highs. Whereas Solana's like, yeah, it's like losing its trend and going down. Yeah. Everything's generally been going sideways, really, when you look at it. It's like it's just not really gone anywhere since that was 2021. So this is the peak, and then this is like the down market, and this is like all the FTX stuff happening, and then just like, could you imagine if you'd bought Solana down here? It got down to like $8 or something. Yeah, $8, like $8.50 down here. You could have bought Solana for $8.50 and then rode it all the way back up to like $250. That's pretty crazy. I have a feeling indicators work with different. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So basically, I have picked these indicators because of different people that I follow and have learnt from. Um, and they're what works for me in my style and the way that I visualize things. So there's never going to be one perfect way to trade. And so the best thing to kind of do is to like watch a lot of videos, watch a lot of YouTube, just try and observe and learn as much as you can just by watching, and then experimenting. So I've experimented like over many years now, to find these indicators and like these different time frames. And for me, these all kind of work and they help to add confluence to my trades and the way that I trade. Um, so for example, let's have a look. Yeah, I feel like we could still go up a little bit here. This is my RSI, and it's not oversold yet, overbought yet. So I feel like we're still above. This is the MACD line. It's not showing a lot of strength. But it also is the time at which we're trading right now. It's like in the middle of the Europe session, like the middle of the London session, and nothing really happens in London. Something might happen like when it opens, but in general, like for us in Australia, if you're in Australia, this time nothing really happens. Like it's just kind of like a nothing burger. And so you really have, if nothing's happening, you probably have to wait until like 11, 12 o'clock until New York opens to see any sort of thing exciting happening. So yeah, I'm still holding my long because I'm not seeing a lot of super negative things happening. Like I've got a higher low on my MACD. This is a higher low here. This is my ADX crossing. So I'm thinking we're going to get another little push up to that area, like I said, an up area and then maybe a rejection. But we'll see. For me, if this holds, this is a W formation. So this is a very, again, W's being uptrends, and then M's being the downtrend reversals. I've got higher lows here. Like this is very bullish for me, like to have these kind of things. So yeah. And a real trade long, nice. End of the meme coin euphoria. Yeah, so basically I think the meme coins they've run out of steam for a little bit. Until Bitcoin starts to do something again. We will get another push, but in general, like over long periods of time, um, Bitcoin needs to cool down for a little bit before we go for another push. So everyone's saying like 150, so that's kind of, if you follow like Elliott wave, we've probably got one more. This is the third wave. So usually it comes in three waves, being like 1, 2, 3. Or like 5 if you call it that way. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But this is not peaked out at all yet. Um, One indicator, if you want to look at the cycles and how they work, it's called the pi cycle indicator. So pi, like is in the mathematical formula pi. So Pi cycle, it picked the first high, and a lot of people will tell you that they think that this first peak in 2021 was the true peak. This one was a manipulation move, mostly done by FTX, selling Bitcoin that they didn't have and all this sort of like drama. And that this should have been the actual peak, and then this should have been the lower high and then coming down. So you'll see in a lot of indicators that this is got the first peak as a pi cycle high. And we've got no indication at all that we're even close to like breaking this like line here. So yeah, it's we're still looking pretty bullish. And you want to kind of, if you have a look at the line right now, it's got it at 181 as like the BTC high. So, all the different indicators will show you different things. But if we get this like blow off top, which is pretty much going to be a straight up move, you're still looking conservatively between 150 and 200. Most people are thinking by the end of the year, we'll get to like 150, 200K. Yeah, it's like pretty crazy to think. And it will be like this, like a straight line, like it's just like if it's going to be like the traditional kind of style of like having this blow off top. You have a look here, we went from October 2020 to the peak, which was like 175 days, so it's like 6 months, and it did 500% in 6 months. So if we did 500% from here, what's that? See, like it's just insane. Like you can't, it's never going to do that again. That'd just be insane. Yeah, the banana zone, that's exactly right. So that's why they call it banana, because it just goes straight up like that. Yeah. But yeah, if there's no other tokens anyone wants to have a quick look at, hopefully that wasn't too overwhelming and is showing you just like how you start to use different time frames to layer on your different indicators and how you can use them to create confluence over time. But yeah, any other questions, guys? I'm gonna go back to my chart. Share. Perfect. So yes, we went over the different types of charts. So line chart, bar chart, candlesticks, and how we use them. The different time frames for different styles. And then your trend lines and your channels, basically just showing direction and how to use them on higher time frames. And then of course volume. And then yeah, so if you want to have the show more information on how to put those indicators into TradingView, go and have a look at my video. And then next week we're going to go more deep dive into those indicators and then how to use those indicators to create confluence. So how to put them together to show the confirmation of your move and your analysis, basically. Okay, let's have a look. Okay. Was there any other questions? Sweet. Yeah, Cardano. Like Cardano, Cardano is like the ultimate stable coin. It's definitely, I can have a quick look at it right now. Let's go back in here. Mm. And see, like this is like my charts can get pretty hectic. Just gonna get rid of it. So once upon a time, Cardano was $3. So, and this is kind of the way that everyone's been joking that it goes down forever. But it has been going up very slowly. Um, it's really a mess. I mean, it doesn't really, like, there's no real trend or sense to any of the movements. I think it's very manipulated. Like a lot of these movements just are, this is crazy manipulation. Look at this move, like that's 100% move in 1 week and then down like down 50% the next week. That's crazy. You could say that we're having like a little bit of a channel here. Let's put on our line chart. And kind of see how that channel is kind of playing out if you want to really kind of have a look. And this is a bullish flag. So you can kind of see, if you kind of see like a flag, this is your flag here. So you kind of little flagpole, you can kind of see. They call it a flag. Do that. So there's your little flag. This is a bullish move. Whereas the other one with Solana was the down one. This is usually a continuation up. So this is actually good. You've got this long-term higher highs and higher lows over time. Big push up, consolidation down in your parallel channel with a breakup is a continuation up. This is a bullish move. And then to compare it is your Solana. When you have a downtrend and then up, this is like a downtrend. So you can see those two. So yeah, so down, up, down. And then with the ADA, up, down, like that. Bullish flag, bearish flag. So not financial advice, just the way that I'm looking at the charts. So what planet are we living on that Solana is bearish and Cardano is bullish? That's actually really funny. Awesome. Sweet. Yeah, exactly. Okay, great. So again, any other questions, guys? We feel leave them in the group. Have a think about if you do have some favorite coins. We'll do some more analysis next week, going over those. Other than that, we will see you next week. Okay, guys. Bye.